Under the Middle Rope champion, predictions champion, yours truly, your host, Jose Tabuada. Welcome everybody to episode 4.1 of Under the Middle Rope. As I said, I'm your host, Jose Tabuada, and the predictions contest, it ended up in my favor, isn't it? And of course, I do feel weird, holding a title and then talking like, I guess, like a quote-unquote true nerd, but when you get your predictions right, it's nice to parade around a little bit, but yeah, I'm not going to do this often, I promise you. This is going to be the only time I do something like this. But yeah, welcome to episode 4.1. We are going to review all of WrestleMania 36. What a weekend it was. And, I have to say, for something that despite I was excited, there obviously was like a little bit of anticipation and nerves with the weekend. And in my opinion, I thought it ended up being a fantastic weekend overall. And there's so much to break down, and that's why this is called 4.1. We realized that we were going way too long on night one when we were discussing, when we were having our discussion today, and so I said, you know what, let's have, in my mind as we were going through the episode, let's have episode 1 today, and then tomorrow you guys will get to review on night 2, which is going to be 4.2. It's weird, but trust us, you'll thank us later instead of listening to a 2-hour podcast, because yeah, there was a lot to process, a lot to break down, and that is just what you're going to be expecting today. So, in terms of guests, Andrew Woltman, Peter Atkinson, they're coming back, and our fourth member who was supposed to be with us last week was finally able to show up today, Mr. Nick Charlick. It was great having him on, and he had a little surprise visit while he was talking with us, and you're going to see that near the end of the episode. It's cute, it's hilarious, it's going to be a fun little change of pace before we continue the rest of the talk. So sit back, relax, embrace that I am your new Under the Middle Rope podcast champion. I do bring this up a lot, and oh boy, there were a lot of angry faces. So let's get right into it. There's a lot to talk about. Here is a discussion of night 1 of WrestleMania 36.
Okay, everybody. Once again, we're back on Skype because that is just our life as of late. And we have our new guest today with us. He was supposed to be with us last week. Stuff came up. Ladies and gentlemen, from Plymouth, United Kingdom, I believe is the right terminology, because Britain has a bunch of names. England, Britain, boring. So, introducing the great Mr. Nick Charlick. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, Jose. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Finally
got here. This is my voice, by the way, everyone. This is how I talk.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up, because, we're in a group chat, all of us, and we were, always sending videos to each other. Pete, we've had a chance to video call with each other, but we never interacted at all visually with Nick. It was all through text. So the three of us are very happy to know what he sounds like. And for the next hour, our ears are going to be just blessed with utter joy. So thank you, Nick, for finally coming. And, of course, returning the same people as last week who got their predictions wrong, and we're going to get through that in a bit. Mr. Peter Atkinson and Mr. Andrew Wolf Woltman. Welcome back, guys. Great talk, great pause. All right, here. So,
great start, great podcast.
What a WrestleMania, gentlemen. I think we can start off on that note. What a crazy 2 days, I would say, guys. Whoever wants to go first, don't be shy. Somebody talk.
Yeah, it was a fantastic event in the end, and I'm going to try and sound not too pissed off as we go through some of these results, because Mr. Smug over there can't stop gloating.
Wolf, your thoughts on the whole thing before we get into before we break down the card?
I mean, for what it was, I enjoyed it. No one really expected much from this, and I think that kind of worked in its favor, And an enjoyable show took us out of the, the crap that's going on around the world right now for at least 3 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that's a lot of people were happy about, just like the breath of fresh air because of it. Nick, what did you think before we get into the breakdown?
Yeah, exactly the same sort of thoughts, really. I think we definitely needed something like that to take our mind off of things. And, yeah, really, really enjoyed it.
Of course, now, one of the things that we brought up last week were the predictions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out what I rightfully won and earned and became your first Under the Middle Rope predictions champion. Gentlemen, I'm sorry. It is what it is. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will see that I've balanced my lighting situation, and now the title can shine here on camera. Isn't it great? Wolf, your thoughts? No? You have a golf club in hand. Okay, fine. But, yeah, like I said, it's ended up being an incredible WrestleMania. And of course, here are the graphics if you're watching the YouTube one more time. We were fairly close for the most part, but of course I picked Bobby Lashley. That didn't work out, and downfall.
You could have so easily had a full house. You got all the hard predictions right.
The women's title,
One that you should have got.
The women's title, which is what we'll get into, burned. Was ultimately the final deciding moment in this whole thing. Wolf picked Naomi. Once she was eliminated, that was it. Sami Zayn came out surprising. And then, of course, in the second graphic here, again, we all blanked out on Shayna Baszler. That was the biggest, I think, the biggest surprise of the night. Pete was the only one that said that Goldberg would not lose his championship, which worked out well for him. And I came out with the surprising pick in picking Charlotte. So, gentlemen, I think this week, let's just stop the talk and let's get right into it because it's going to be a very, very long. Actually, no, we're not going to get into the predictions because a lot of bets were made, a lot of bets were settled. So last week, if you remember, we said that the loser originally between Nick and Pete had to watch Cats and Charlie's Angels back to back. If whoever got less predictions of the two wrong would have to watch back to back. So Pete, that is you. Your thoughts on now having to deal with Charlie's Angels and Cats?
I'm starting to come to terms with it. It's been a few tough days. I've felt down. I felt really distressed about this. But I think I'm more annoyed that I've let Nick off the hook, to be honest, than having to see it myself.
Yeah, and go on.
So yeah, I'm planning to fulfill my duties on Friday this week. I don't know when this is coming out, so it might even be on that day. But we will see. We will see how it goes, and I'm oddly looking forward to how bad it's going to be.
Nick, you were telling me something earlier, and I think now's a good time to reveal that because we've been annoying you since the end of fantasy football about this cat situation. You never saw it, but Nick, is there a little secret that you want to spill to everybody?
Yeah, kind of. 2 weeks before the bet was made, I already watched Cats, guys.
What?
So I've already seen the film. I just thought I'd keep stringing you along, and you fell right for it. I had nothing to lose. I didn't. So if I had to see it again, I had to see it again. I don't care, and now I don't. Pete, you're in for a treat, my friend.
My trust is gone.
Can we kick him out of the league? Ultimate betrayal.
Yeah, he told me this story before the podcast recording. Before we met up to start recording, Nick was telling me, "Hey, Jose, I have a secret," and I'm like, "Okay, what's your secret? Because you're already weird enough." And he sent me videos of the fact that he watched it, and I'm like, "You're kidding me!" Because we've been roasting the hell out of you. I've been roasting. I forgot to pull out my fantasy football ring, but damn, Nick, what'd you think at the end of it?
I haven't really got many thoughts on it because I don't really know what happened in the film. there's literally in an hour, probably hour and 40-minute film, there's about 5 minutes of normal dialogue and the rest is just complete singing. I had no idea what was going on.
I like singing. I don't mind singing. And then
I couldn't follow it.
Jose, is this still a PG podcast?
Sure, I can censor some stuff. What do you need?
I just want to say, Nick.
I just blew up your spot, Nick.
You say what?
I just blew up your spot.
The match. Great. Now that we got that all out of our system, then the other
feels good.
Were made.
Weight off my shoulders.
The other side of it that was made, aside from this and aside from the predictions, Wolf and I agreed to have the same little stipulation between us with movies. If I got less picks than Wolf, I would have had to watch The Irishman, which is a 3-hour masterpiece from what I'm told. And then I said if Wolf loses, if I had more picks than him, which I did, he had to watch High School Musical 3. And I said, why not? Because High School Musical 3 is not that bad. So, Wolf, when are you watching High School Musical 3?
Well, I don't know, probably today or tomorrow.
Good.
But at least sometime this week,
Good point.
If
That's a good
it was an option, I'd go back 2 weeks before we decided this bet and I'd watch it already.
Yeah, that's
like it.
Nick with the heist of the century, I should say. Ha! What? All right, let's get into it. Oh, is that what you want me to do, Wolf? Just swing my title around like that?
I will fly to Canada.
Just stop.
I will come to Canada, travel ban or not.
Canada's great. Toronto's great. We're a good country. All right. So, 2 nights to break down. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of great WrestleMania moments that were once again created for all of us. And then, of course, WrestleMania moments that we want to forget or wondering what the hell happened. We didn't predict the kickoff matches between the 4 of us. And we're going to skip the kickoff matches because Cesaro beat Gulag. Great. Liv Morgan beat Natalya. Great. Let's get right into night 1. Your thoughts, guys, on... I'm going to start with this. Your thoughts on Gronk's performance as a host. Let's go with Nick, Pete, then Wolf.
Where do I start with this? Obviously, I've been English. I don't really know a lot about Gronk, so I can only judge on what I've seen on TV. I don't think he needed to be there, personally. I get it why he was, but yeah, I haven't really got much to say about that, to be honest, mate.
Pete?
To be honest, it felt a little bit meaningless. He was there, he said a few words, and didn't really do that much. He won the 24/7 title. We all predicted that was going to happen as soon as R-Truth appeared. Yeah. You knew it was going to happen on the night 2. I was a little bit surprised he didn't win it there and then, straight away. But
yeah,
they held off at us. They made us wait. They built up the tension massively, and then night 2, straight away. Yep, great. He did a complete break of social distancing rules by jumping onto 20 people in the crowd, and is now a WWE champion.
Yay! I'm going to give my thoughts in a bit. Wolf, your thought? Because I know Wolf is, between the 4 of us, Wolf is the biggest Rob Gronkowski fan out there, one of the biggest fans out there as well. So
I could be watching Alf right now. Come on.
Wolf, your thoughts on your idol, Rob Gronkowski?
How many times do I have to pick up this golf club? Jesus Christ. I don't like Gronk. I've never liked Gronk. I feel like he was meaningless in this role, as everyone said. And frankly, hearing, the Dave & Buster's party boy from the New England Patriots telling me not to worry about the world makes me want to worry about the world more. Like, hey, it's fine. Come here. I have a title. Well, let's go have some wings. No. He was funny on Family Guy, but no, sure. I don't like WWE. Just stop.
So all kidding aside, obviously I'm the Patriots fan of the 4 of us. I'm the big Rob Gronkowski guy. I like Pete said, I was expecting it to happen. It did. Obviously, I got excited because it's my boy Gronk. That is a future NFL Hall of Famer for sure. But no, I do agree with the 4 of you in the sense that it was meaningless. I mean, what WrestleMania host in history has been effective, has really shown their...
The Rock.
Like, WrestleMania... Okay, fine. Okay, I'll give you that one. WrestleMania 27. I'll give it to you. But for the most...
The New Day to a little bit of an extent.
Yeah.
Like reintroducing the Hardys.
I was going to bring him to brought up the Hardys. But for the most part, I mean, like, what? You had Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 30, which that was just that one segment in the intro. You had Alexa Bliss last year, which, she announced the attendance record. She had some moments here and there, but nothing extravagant. So
a really awkward promo with Hulk Hogan.
I mean, I enjoyed it from the seats. Wolf, I don't know if Wolf did, but I had a blast with it.
I think it's just funny that he tried to make fun of the time he messed up the name of the Silverdome. And then he actually messed it up again.
Yeah. At the time of this recording, it is the 1-year anniversary since Wolf and I went, so that's special. So I just wanted to point that out. So yeah, Gronk was Gronk. We get it. It was what it was. Yeah, I agree. I forgot who said it. Social distancing was not applied at all when Gronk jumped off the.
Or even any of those wrestlers. I don't think any of them actually worked in WWE. And the camera just moved so quick you couldn't make anyone out.
So it looks like Cassius Ohno was part of it, but I couldn't make any of them out.
He still exists?
Yeah, I know.
I think he's in the UK, actually.
I haven't seen him in a while, but anyways, moving along. Night 1 opened up with an incredible 10-minute Pirates of the Caribbean theme intro, which I thought was spectacular, and then the rendition of America the Beautiful. I thought it was great to get all past performers and put them all into one compilation and then have it flow. I thought that was great, but I mean, I don't think there's much to say about that, guys, other than, not bad. No, exactly. We're all shaking our heads. Exactly. Nothing much to say. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross became now 2-time women's tag team champions. Let's go Wolf, Pete, then Nick. We're going to go reverse here. Your thoughts on the match, your thoughts on the result.
I mean, it didn't really do much for me, you know? It was just kind of there. I barely think they even registered that the titles exist anymore. It was just, I mean, WWE seems to like Alexa Bliss, and, you know, if she's going to be on the shows more often than the Kabuki Warriors are, you might as well get the title sometime. And in theory, it should help Nikki Cross, because, you know, she's got that boost of being with her. But all in all, this match didn't do too much for me. And I'm sorry, they couldn't get like an inflatable pirate ship or something for Kairi Sane to come out? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Party City or something.
I think the one thing we were saying is like we were hoping for like something, I guess like a significant like a different change to what we've been seeing on Raw and SmackDown, and we didn't, and it was sad. We got the nice big WrestleMania sign. We'll talk about that sign in a bit. Pete, your thoughts on the match?
Well, just to go on the entrance point first, I'm guessing the entrance production team and that just wasn't worth having them on set. There wasn't any real big entrances at all, excluding the pre-recorded video type matches, but we'll come to that later.
Yep.
But there weren't any proper big entrances. You couldn't have pyro. You couldn't do that much in that area, so I can forgive them on that. I think the issue with this match is it was so late added to the card itself. It wasn't even added by the time we made our predictions. It came out later. That it did feel a little bit underwhelming. I think the actual match itself was better than I expected it to be. I thought they over-delivered slightly. But again, it didn't feel that big of a deal. And it wasn't a bad welcome to WrestleMania, but it was okay.
Nick?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it was just okay. Added late. I think it probably could have been on the pre-show, to be honest. They could have got rid of Liv and Natalia from night 2 and put it on there. Well, I think that what they've done now is they might end up breaking the Kabukis up and let Asuka go on a bit of a singles run, possibly. And hopefully they can make the titles mean something, because if they had that, 6 months they've had those titles, and they've defended them probably 3 times maybe on TV?
That sounds right. That sounds right to my knowledge, yeah.
I think TLC was probably the last time they defended them on a pay-per-view last year against Charlotte and Becky. I could be wrong on that, though.
No, I think you're right. And then I think, who was it? Kyrie suffered a concussion, I think, in the process as well.
Match.
So that definitely affected it.
Asuka had the thing with Becky.
And Pete, what was that?
No, I was agreeing with Nick there. Asuka went on the singles feud afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys, I think, all of you guys hit the nail on the head. I mean, I agree that it could have been a pre-show match, but it also, I thought it was a somewhat of a good way, because it, like Pete said, it ended up being better than we thought it was. And match ended up being great. I think the one thing that was somewhat bothering me, and again, it's not their fault, and I think this is something we're going to be discussing along the way, is my goodness, was the lack of crowd, or no crowd at all, was seriously like there. Like you heard it, like literally, in the sense of like you don't hear anything. Like to hear everybody screaming at everybody, at the ref. I mean, to their advantage, I think it's great that they got like more interactions like they wouldn't do without a crowd, like the referee speaking more. You hear that, and they have to try to avoid like calling their matches on calling their spots in the match was great, which was great. But I think it was an okay match. I like Alexa. I'm a big Alexa fan. I'm a big Nikki fan. I think Nikki's great as well. And they got gold again. I think it's a tag team worthy of gold. So hopefully we'll see what ends up here. Elias and King Corbin. Nick, why'd you pick Corbin?
I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't think. I'm surprised Gronk didn't get involved. Obviously, I know that's why you guys all picked Elias. You thought he was going to get involved somehow. It's WWE love Corbin. That's literally why I went for him. I thought he was going to go over. Obviously, I was wrong. I know how much of a big fan of Corbin you
are. Pete, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah. As Nick just said, that I was shocked that Gronk didn't get involved in this, because with him being the host of WrestleMania, I was thinking, he has to do the odd couple of things, and this one just made perfect sense for him to get involved. So I was shocked by that. The match was meh. It happened. It didn't need to happen. It wasn't a WrestleMania match. It wasn't a WrestleMania feud. It just didn't feel like it belonged on the card. And I thought the only reason it belonged on the card was to give Gronk something to do, and he didn't even do anything. So, yeah, it happened.
I I'll be honest, I missed the first 5 minutes of this match because I was taking a pizza box out to the garbage.
Oh,
so in a way, I did see Corbin.
hey,
Blasphemy. It was a great match, for a Monday Night Raw, but it just didn't scream WrestleMania, and Gronk not being involved, that really didn't do much.
Yeah, it was a 9-minute match. I think it went longer than a lot of us did. And I mean, Elias did pick up his first WrestleMania win in his WrestleMania debut, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Elias has been in a WrestleMania match at all, so he's 1-0.
He might have been in the Battle Royals, but I don't really know.
I'm counting.
No, I don't think he
I'm
was.
counting singles. Yeah, I'm counting because WrestleMania 34, he had the thing with Cena. WrestleMania 35, he had the thing with Cena. So and he wasn't around for 33 or 32's Battle Royal. So he's 1-0 and on his way to break that 21-0 streak. It was what it was. Not much to say. Just I hate Corbin. I'm glad he lost. He deserved to lose. He deserves to be stripped of his crown. And so on and so forth, and God bless Nick.
So do you.
Okay, all right, great. Cool. Moving on. This was the first big shocker of the night. We knew we were going to get WrestleMania shocks. We knew it was going to happen. I don't think any of us expected this to come with this match. Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler. It went shorter than the women's tag. Shorter than Elias Corbin. Let's get that very clear. A Raw women's tag with a champion that, as of today, has now been officially champion for a year. This doesn't get that much time. We had the same finish that Wolf and I got last year at WrestleMania, where the backslide, uncertain if the shoulders were on the mat, the ref counted to 3. It's a back-to-back win of weird screwy finishes at WrestleMania. Wolf, Nick, Pete, your thoughts on? Let's start with Wolf. Your thoughts on this match, on the surprise Shayna loss.
I don't get it. Why? Who does that help? I mean, where does Becky go from here? What does that do for Shayna? It was a very much blink and you miss it finish, and you couldn't have her attack Becky after the match or something. It just really did nothing. Becky Lynch is great. She's one of the most talented people on the roster, but her WrestleMania track record this year and last year isn't great because you get these matches that you really want to see. And then you finally see them, and it's kind of wait, is that it? I don't get it. Yeah. So it just felt like, a whoopee cushion a little bit.
Nick?
Yeah, I was really surprised with it, to be honest. I think we've all thought it was going to be Shayna since probably before the Rumble. And then there was rumors that came out that Vince didn't trust Shayna. And the only thing I can think of is maybe this isn't the end. Maybe they didn't want to do one and done. They want to do a bit of a series, and Shayna will beat her later down the line. But I was really, really surprised by this one.
Pete?
I'd like to point out that I did say I think this could have happened on the podcast. I was very on the fence on this match.
We're not playing horseshoes here. Almost doesn't count.
I nearly went for Becky. I wish I had gone for Becky, obviously, now, but I was so on the fence. I said I thought it was the hardest match on the show to call at all. I think there's other ways, because even when I thought Becky might win, I didn't expect it to be that way. I thought it might have been by disqualification, if Shayna went too far, the ref calls for the bell, something like that could have happened. Or even the other way around, Becky gets so desperate she gets herself disqualified. Some kind of weird shenanigans to keep the feud going on. Especially this early in the card, it doesn't have to be a clean finish. But it just killed. It was a bit of a sneaky roll-up, but it was early in the match. And it wasn't like Becky was completely on the back foot during that match. So, yeah, I was disappointed, if I'm being honest. Just not necessarily even the result, just the way the result happened.
Yeah. I think, although I hate, you guys know me, I'm not, like I said last week, I'm not too keen on trying to bring in the kayfabe talk into this, but I think the one thing a lot of people were saying once Becky won was how you, quote unquote, you all of a sudden killed the credibility of Shayna after what she did, biting the neck with the blood, becoming the first woman the first individual, not just specifically a woman, to eliminate everybody in the chamber. She was booked extremely strong going into this WrestleMania. And it felt like the cards were there, that this was going to be her crowning moment. Becky was going to be dethroned after, like Wolf said, an interesting title reign to say the least, and just now gone. And I don't think it's gonna It reminds me of Nakamura going into WrestleMania 34. He had the big hype at the Rumble. Everybody's going crazy because we were going to get a dream match. This was it. And then it was such a lackluster match in New Orleans. And then they picked it up from there. And then a lot of people felt like it just wasn't good enough after what happened at WrestleMania. And that's what I'm worried with this. I do think that it could be going further, like Nick said. It sounds like you kind of have to because, where does Becky go from here? So I was a bit disappointed at the result. Aside from that, I thought the match was a little bit lackluster as well. Again, 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That's what I predicted for Brock and Drew, and that's just a weird situation. But
if they don't carry on with this, sorry.
No, go on.
If they don't carry on with this now, what do they do with Shayna?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you do?
They basically used the same finish they did with Kairi Sane in NXT with the quick roll-up thing, and she won the title back pretty much at the next pay-per-view, right?
That sounds right. So, I don't know. Do you guys have an answer to that? Pete Wolf, what happens here, or do we leave the hypothetical? Go.
The way I'd go for it now is I'd build up. I wouldn't go straight into continuing the Becky Shayna feud. I think you need to take her out of that because I think you killed that a little bit dead. You can come back to it at a later point.
Yep.
And I would build up Asuka versus Shayna right now.
I'd like to see that.
So I would build up that feud. I'd have Asuka go step down and go, you know what? This is the person who was a big threat to Becky. I'm going to show I'm better than her. Go and beat Asuka in a number one contenders feud. Win that. Go back to Becky and then beat Becky again. Now that she's prepared, maybe prepared a bit more. And that would redeem it somewhat and would at least give... Because at the moment, what reason does Shayna have to get another title opportunity?
Yeah.
Well, for that matter, what reason did Angel Garza and Austin Theory have? But they got another one.
Braun Strowman got a Universal title match for no reason.
We're going to talk about that moment later, but that's
a bad story elsewhere. Doesn't mean we should continue to do bad stories.
Well, why not? Just spread it out. Make it even.
Moving on in the card. I was the only one that got this right. And I want to point out that I had some people laugh at me. A man that the four of us know, that kind of like somewhat brought us together with his YouTube channel. He laughed at me for picking Sami Zayn to beat Daniel Bryan. I said I just had a gut feeling. The gut feeling worked. Unlike Pete, I followed my gut, and it was great. He retained. A lot of delay. This went 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, most of it just because Sami Zayn was running around hiding, which was like, okay, we get the point here. We get the point. Pete, Wolf, Nick, let's start with you, Pete. Your thoughts on the IC title match?
Yeah, I wasn't that confident going into this, especially after the SmackDown before Mania. But I would say this is maybe my most disappointing match of the two nights.
Okay.
I thought this could have been something special. You could have had some shenanigans early on. Get Nakamura, Cesaro, and Gulak out of there. Do the whole "you're out of here" spot, and then just let Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan go at it for 10, 15 minutes. And you could have had something quite special. You could have given the fans something they wanted there. And instead you just had a fairly shenanigan. It was quite amusing, but I just feel it could have been something a lot better.
Who did I say was next? Wolf, yeah?
I thought it was awful. I mean, in what world do we have El Generico versus Bryan Danielson with Claudio Castagnoli, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Drew Gulak at ringside, and it turns into an episode of Benny Hill? I mean, for God's sake, these are like 5 of the best wrestlers on earth, and you decide to put out that. I'm a man that loves comedy, but dear God, even I thought this was too much. You know, they could have had a great match. Like, if this was in NXT, then they probably would have been way less produced and not Sami Zayn running away like a coward. But, you know, what did I expect?
I agree.
I got hopeful for this one, and that's on me.
Nick?
I want to start by saying I went for Sami Zayn as well.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to put that out there. Yeah, I agree. I think it was really disappointing, but I'm not surprised by it because the way they've had Sami the last 6 months, he's not been a wrestler. He did the same thing in the handicap match. He ran around for a bit and then pinned Braun. Where did Nakamura and Cesaro go for half an hour? Did they fall into an abyss because they just knocked them over the barricade and then they've just gone? And they didn't come back until probably towards the end of the match, which is weird. the finish as well was really strange. It was a big boot off the top. That's not his finisher. It's not the haluva kick into the turnbuckle. He basically came down onto his boot, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I thought they could have gone 15, 20 minutes with this one.
Yeah, and I think I agree with everybody's points here. It was extremely disappointing. Yeah, and if it was on NXT, we know who runs that, and we know who runs the main roster, and so the differences of styles between those two within this company. It's hilarious. Yeah, it's just there's not much to say. I think you guys, like I said, I think you guys hit the nail on the head here. Just disappointing. Could have went longer. We didn't need the Benny Hill running around moment, so lackluster, but it got me the title win, so it's okay. This one was a surprising one. Was that 4? What are we on a counter 4 here? This one was interesting for a lot of people because how the heck can 3 individuals compete for a tag team championship? But it did. The Miz was sick, from what the reports were. He came sick and he didn't want to risk it being involved with everybody else. So it became a triple threat for the tag team SmackDown Tag Team Championship, an individual from each team. John Morrison representing Miz and Morrison, Jimmy representing the Usos, and then Kofi Kingston representing the New Day. And I'll start with this. An incredible match. That was a lot of fun, a lot of spots. And even though, hold on, lost my train of thought. We learned what ladders really sound like when there's nobody around. They're loud. They mix around there. It's hilarious. And again, just a lot of just fun, dangerous stuff that I know these 3 would be able to do. We felt bad because the 3 of us, Pete, Wolf, and I, we made our picks for Miz and Morrison. Nick picked the Usos. Yes. Nick asked last minute. We'll start with you, Nick. Nick asked last minute if he can change his prediction. The 3 of us
said no.
You shot that down.
I got down pretty fast. It would have put you up to if we let you change. Because I'm going to presume that you would have picked Miz and Morrison if you were allowed to change. Okay, you're nodding your head. Yeah. You would have picked it. It would have put you up to 12. It wouldn't have mattered. But we did that for you. And we're going to start with you. What were your thoughts on the match, and how bad do you want to kill us for not allowing you to change your pick?
Oh, it's fine. I wanted to change it because out of all those 3, the Usos the only one that's not a singles compare. So clearly he wasn't going to win. I don't know if he would have won if it was all 3 teams. I don't know if they changed the finish or not, but it was a really good match. I think it was the match of night 1, to be honest. It was an odd decision having a triple threat singles match for tag titles. But I don't really know what else they could have done with that. I think it was a bit of extenuating circumstances. They couldn't have really just replaced them with someone else.
Pete?
Yeah, well, to be fair to Nick, though, he did at least get the better Uso to represent.
That's true. I did say that.
Yeah. So it was completely fair. And as we know, based on Raw and SmackDown, though, I think a few of us would have changed some of our picks down the card to a couple of other things based on just those 2 shows. I know I would have. To one we'll get to very soon, definitely. But for this match, I'd say in ring, it was the match of night 1. Yeah. From an in-ring point of view. Some of the spots are great. John Morrison was definitely the MVP. He was brilliant, showed what he could do.
He still got it.
Starship Pain off the top through the ladder, the tightrope walk into a C4. Just some brilliant things that he could just show you do. And a really clever finish as well. Something quite unique. Really good finish.
Oh, that was so good.
Wolf?
Yeah, I mean, not much I can say that they haven't said. It was a really good match. It kind of, got the show going because up till then it was kind of like a lackluster show. But John Morrison, he stole it. He went away with it. The tightrope walk that was stupendous into Starship Pain without even looking. That was pretty awesome. And then I've never seen a finish like that. Like for a second, my heart stopped because I thought Morrison was about to lose after he fell, but I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun. So I dig it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up too. I thought in all the years I've been watching ladder matches, I personally have never seen it. Apparently it's happened before. There
was the Rollins Ambrose one, which was pretty similar.
So there was something similar. Yeah. I don't remember that, but I thought it was great. I thought it was just a little comedic relief there. The 3 of them are holding up the hook. You're like, what do we do now? And then Morrison, and by the way, that had to be carefully executed because I mean obviously because it was taped they could have just refilmed it if Morrison didn't let go of the belts, but can you imagine if that was live and when Morrison dropped did not get the titles, what do you do? Like what do you
go? You go with whatever happened.
Exactly. So
you drop it. Like have one of the Usos drop it on him. Like crap.
Like rock paper scissors. All that.
Whoopsie daisies.
I thought that was all around. Yeah, I agree. I think it may have been in ring. I think it may have been the match of night one of the Saturday night. Moving
Could you
forward,
imagine though? Can I just say something, Jose? Could you imagine though if they did have to refilm that and saying it to Morrison is going, yeah, do you know that big fall that you just took back onto a ladder? We want you to do that exact same thing again because you didn't quite do it right.
But my back, just do it again.
God damn it, we want a new angle. We need to get a close-up.
That's such good We'll get to that later. We'll get to it later. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. This was weird at first, and it got Nick to snap a little bit, and I think rightfully so. Because it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Pete was the only one who said Rollins. Pete was the only one who said Rollins.
Yeah.
The match, Rollins hit Kevin Owens with the chair midway through the match, and the ref called for the bell, and we thought that was it. Point to Pete, and then
that would have been a point to you.
Oh, sorry. A point for the three of us right here. I misread this a little bit. A point for the three of us, and then the match restarted. I'm gonna side with Nick in the sense. Well, I want to say I side with Nick, and then I don't want to say I side with Nick because I was saying I think if Rollins does end up winning this, it should just go to Rollins. The point should just go to Rollins because I guess the segment wasn't over. Again, Nick, we'll start with you because you were the one more vocal with this. Yeah. And then Kevin Owens ended up winning anyways with. I think was the spot moment of WrestleMania Night 1 with jumping off the sign was incredible. And just the way that Rollins sounded, like as he gasped for air. I mean, like when like a 200 pound plus man is falling on you, I can't imagine that'd be pretty. So, Nick, we'll start with you. Just explain to everybody why you were mad. And then what did you think of at the end of it, at the end of the whole thing?
I was desperate. That's all I'm going to say. Pete was probably right, to be honest. He was right because they're only going to record the second finish. They're not going to include both of them. But I was trying to get an extra point out of that. I didn't even get that. I wanted a point for the first one, a point for the second one. So you got something out of it.
Wait, we do that now? We just changed that. We all just get like 2 points now.
I mean, already lost. You don't need to make it worse.
I won't lose by that much.
You can. Nick? Nick, so your thoughts on the match after at the end of it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, really strong match. I'm glad they did the bit after it because the ring bell finish was, if they had ended on that, that would have been really, really weird.
Sorry, yeah. It was a bell, yeah.
Yeah, that's not the way you end a feud like that. But his thing off the WrestleMania sign was brilliant. I don't think we're ever going to see a spot like that, especially considering the sign's normally 50 feet in the air, whatever it usually is at a stadium. Shane O'Mac-esque, let's just say that. Yeah,
it's the irony, isn't it? After Owens went after Shane McMahon like as much as he could, and he just, I guess, imitation is a sincere form of flattery, as they say. Wolf, your thoughts on everything? On Nick's freak out and his thoughts on the match.
Well, to be honest, I freaked out too. I was kind of like on his side. If you look back in the chat, yeah, I'm just like, wait, can we get 2 points, or is it one cancels the other out, or what? But honestly, it's always fun to just piss Nick off. Frankly, like the wind went out of the sails as soon as like that bell finish happened. I think the world was like, what? No, you didn't. And then, okay, we'll keep going. And, it's not unique to do a spot like that at WrestleMania, and it feels weird to be desensitized to men leaping off of things that high, but I enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it a lot more if he jumped off the pirate ship at Raymond James Stadium like he originally planned, but maybe in 2 years.
Was that a thing, or are you joking?
No, that's real. He revealed it on Twitter. His original plan was to jump off the pirate ship.
No way, really? I didn't know this.
He said he went to see a show with his wife there, and he said the second he seen that shit, he was planning it in his head what he was going to do.
Wow.
But how do you bring somebody back to the ring like after that deal? Okay, does anyone have a golf cart I can use? I need to bring Rollins and pin him.
You just say won by TKO.
I did not know that. I missed that. Oh my god, that would have been amazing if he jumped off the ship. And it's funny because as the bigger one of the bigger NFL people in the chat, I know Pete's as big as well. Wolf not as big as Pete and I. Sorry, sir. But you know, a lot of people kept asking me or asking the football guys, hey, is there a ship at Raymond James Stadium? What's the stadium like? I'm like, there's a big ass pirate ship in one of the end zones. That's where the stage would have been set up. And I know that the ramp would have been similar to WrestleMania 33s and whatnot. So the fact that they would have went all the way there, that would have been that's a good miss. Pete.
Yeah. As Nick said, Kevin Owens channeling his inner Shane McMahon was brilliant, and then Seth Rollins channeling his inner Shane McMahon with his screams. That was even better. So
Go on.
Yeah. I would say I was also probably freaking out in that chat as much as everyone else was, arguing entirely the opposite to Nick, saying, no, only the final fall counts, obviously. That's who won the match. It didn't matter in the end. I was bringing up AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns like 2016 to back up my argument.
Oh,
and
man.
then that match got restarted twice. So I was like full in trying to argue this point that I almost missed the giant spot.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Way to go, Nick.
We had a feel.
Victory.
Yeah, I everybody said what they said. I thought that the restart was smart there. I'm disappointed now that he would have jumped off the freaking ship. And of course, the other news that came out that Tampa did submit a bid for WrestleMania 38. I agree. Put it there. They deserve it. They missed out on such a big opportunity there. If it was going to be the same stage that they would have used this past weekend, use it, save it. Don't let anybody know what the stage was going to be. And I think it's fair to Tampa. And I know it's funny. I've seen some people on Instagram. Some people were already suggesting this, that, put WrestleMania 38 back in Tampa. And people were saying, no, Florida's already had too many WrestleManias. I'm like, who gives a damn if Florida has had too many WrestleManias?
If we're being technical, this is the second WrestleMania in Orlando in 4 years.
You know what? Yeah, it's second one. Yeah, it's. I think there was a set that it is the fastest time that WrestleMania has returned to a city since WrestleManias 4 and 5 in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which is a technicality. But I personally wouldn't care if Florida got another WrestleMania. Heck, I would consider going to that one because the city of Tampa was robbed. They were robbed. I think all of us were robbed of what was probably going to be an incredible stage design, an incredible production at Raymond James Stadium. So I think we're all on board because I see everybody's nodding their heads that, give it to Tampa again. And let them redeem themselves for what should have been an incredible weekend and never bring it back to the UK. So the next match on the card.
You guys are just going to let that slide?
Of course they do.
No, we'll just take a SummerSlam instead. It's fine.
They're my guests. They have to. Next on the I'm kidding, guys. I love you guys. Next on the card was one that we thought was going to main event originally, but the switch, Roman leaving, did not happen. Braun Strowman with Goldberg, who after being replaced, who just was inserted into the match in kayfabe time in 48 hours, 72 hours, 24 hours, sorry, I should say, became your Universal Champion. Pete, we'll start with you because you were the one that said no matter what happens, we were predicting, and Nick was saying this as well when we chimed him in, that even though if it's most likely going to be Braun, you were confident that he was not going to lose, that it was going to be Goldberg holding on to that title because of the switch, and then they'll save the spot for Roman at a later date. Why'd you pick Goldberg?
I still think it's going to happen. I still think Goldberg's going to retain that belt. If you gave me the option to go back a week and tell me and say, do you want to pick? I go, no, Goldberg's retaining that belt. Of course he is. It's the obvious answer. Like, he is keeping that belt until Roman Reigns comes back and takes the belt off him. It's the only thing that makes sense. Why the hell would they swap it to Braun? It's just not going to happen. But then it actually happened. I was shocked when that, because this match decided between me and Nick who won that mini side bet.
Yeah.
And going into this match, I was so confident. I was like, well, I've just won. It's fine. Like, this will be it. I'll recatch Hosey up in the predictions. It's just going to go my way. And even at the start of the match, when he hit those first couple of spears, like, oh yeah, I've won this. There's no doubt at all. Even when Braun Strowman started hitting power slams, I was like, oh, he's just going to hit a couple. Goldberg will kick out. The comeback will happen again, and he'll keep the belt. I was so confident. And then, like, why now? Why the hell would you put the belt on Braun now? Of all times. Does he feel like I'll ask everyone that. Does he feel like he's Universal Champion? It just doesn't.
I think not so.
Yeah. Or no, I know.
Nick, we'll go to you next then. Yeah, let's go to Nick. Let's see what he thinks. Because the one thing we did notice, was your side bet, Nick and Pete's, was going to be decided on night one. Was going to be decided on the Saturday because everybody else, you guys were fairly similar for night two, which had Wolf and I all giddy and excited for that matter. Nick, your thoughts on the whole thing?
Yeah, I was 50-50 on this one because it was Braun and he'd gone in so cold. It seemed a bit of an odd choice, but then thinking of it in real world terms, Goldberg's probably not going to be around. And can they really keep the title on until SummerSlam now? To hold off for Roman? I don't think they could have. Well, they could have, but I don't.
Especially in the current climate, of course you can. Like with everything pre-taped, everything done, of course you can keep it off him until SummerSlam. Well, whether you can get Goldberg back for it, maybe that's the issue. But I'm so shocked. I'm so ranting. Like what?
Well, if we've got SmackDown to come on Friday, you never know. They might have another super secret main event, and he could come back and win the title back.
Very well could. I mean, not that it would have changed anything. Wolf.
That would really kick it in for you there.
Wolf.
I mean, I don't get what everyone's saying. This was clearly the in-ring match of the night. Like, just like a technical marvel. I mean, Ricochet saw this match and he just ripped it. What are you doing?
I'm just holding up the title as he's being sarcastic. And go on.
I hate you.
I know you do.
Anyway, frankly, it's exactly what it was. It's exactly what we all kind of thought it would be. You just kind of flip a coin on which one's pinning the other. And frankly, we got the same exact match the next night with Lesnar and McIntyre, but that one was way better because we actually gave a crap about who won. And, Goldberg's not going to stick around. He'll come back in November for Crown Jewel 3 or whatever. And, Strowman's here. And despite the fact that he's not exactly the most popular guy in the world right now, he can have a good match or two. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him versus Big Show because those matches are good.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that's what when we were talking about this last week on the predictions, Wolf did bring up the point that where's Goldberg going to go after this, and that's what sold me to say he's going to lose the title because I think no matter what, I just did not see. I don't know how Pete saw this. I did not see Goldberg going any forward with that title past WrestleMania. I just did not see him in anything moving on, even though everybody's shut down right now. I just did not see that happening. Bless your soul, Pete, for thinking that.
Yeah. To respond, I when it was initially Reigns, I didn't see it going past Mania, but I thought Vince had his heart set on the Roman Goldberg match, and if he had to put that off and delay it till when it happened, he would just delay it until he had that match. And my main thought is, especially with Braun Strowman, I was like, well, there's no build. They haven't even bothered to try and make a build out of this. Then they just kind of like, if they were going to put the belt on Braun, you had your chance 2 years ago. And it felt so much more natural 2 years ago to give Braun Strowman that belt. And he was built up at that point. People were behind him at that point, especially after his feud with Roman. People were loving Braun. And I was like, and they didn't do it then. I was like, well, if they don't do it when the crowd's behind him, they're not going to do it now. And they did. So I'm actually quite happy I'm wrong, because of course Braun Strowman can put on better matches than Goldberg. Yeah. Of course he's going to be around. And yeah, I definitely prefer Braun Strowman to Goldberg. I'm just shocked.
I'm still shocked that we didn't get Scott Hall with a cattle prod.
You and the cattle prod are just so important here. And we have a kid on Under the Middle Rope, ladies and gentlemen. For those that don't know, Nick is a family man. And there's his.
Oh, he's trying to RKO you, but he's doing it backwards.
He's already.
Say hello.
Hi.
Counted.
That's Oliver. Hello.
Hi, Oliver.
Do you want switch out and put him on? Or?
This is the benefit.
Got a lot better points.
Let's.
Bye. Bye.
See you later, mate. Night.
If you're listening to this on Spotify, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, get on YouTube right now and you just witness how cute that was.
Special guest, ladies and gentlemen, special guest.
Nick, he's still going to kill you.
Yeah, he's gonna.
My back is hurting a little bit. I think he's got something sharp in there.
He's aiming.
and the last match of night one, moving forward now, is a nice little breather there from our fantasy weird fake sport of wrestling. A match that has surprised everybody. Everybody was impressed. Everybody was happy. The Undertaker and AJ Styles in an incredible Boneyard match. Boneyard match. And then it ended up being a Buried Alive match. That was our first official Buried Alive match since 2010. Pete, Wolf, and Nick. Pete, let's start with you. Your thoughts on the whole thing, on the production, because it wasn't in ring. It was like one of those recorded, different recorded sets, places, whatever. Blah blah. Go. I'm ranting. Pete.
Yeah. So I'm the type of person who loved the Final Deletion when it came out. I've loved all the Matt Hardy stuff. I love these backstage Boneyard recorded to type matches. And I've made my points clear that I hated the build-up to this match. I absolutely despised the build-up to this match. But this match was brilliant. It was fantastic. And it's what you need from Undertaker now. He's not going to put on clinics in the ring, but he is still a great character. He is still can tell a story. And when you spend 8 hours filming with Taker to create this type of story, then that's the end result. You get something fantastic, you get something memorable. And I didn't think this was going to get topped over Mania. I think it did. We'll come to that later. But when this happened, I was like, well, that was just brilliant. It main evented, it was fantastic, and that's not going to get topped. It was superb.
Wolf? Did I say Wolf?
0 out of 5. It didn't have a ring made out of bones.
Nick, your thoughts?
It was great. I enjoyed it. Again, the build wasn't left a lot to be desired, but something like this was fantastic for what it was. Undertaker's not really in a position to do those matches that he had with Shawn Michaels anymore. If he'd keep doing things like this, then he could probably get another 5 years out of them. I thought it was a great little segment. And, the second you play Metallica, you immediately have me on your side because Metallica is fantastic.
Nick.
Yeah, I echo their thoughts. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Really smart to have had this at the main event as well, because anything that follows this, I think, would have felt a bit flat. Seeing Biker Taker back, I've made my thoughts known that I absolutely love Biker Taker. I know a lot of people don't, but yeah, it was just brilliant. The production was great. He won. There was a point when I did think AJ was going to beat him because Taker hasn't got the best record in Buried Alive matches. I think that's the second one that he's won in the whole time he's done them.
No, he's lost them all. If I'm not mistaken, he lost all of them.
I thought it was like 1 and 4.
Let me pull. Nick, you keep discussing. I'm gonna look it up because I'm curious as well. Nick, keep going with.
I'm pretty sure you told me he won one. I could be completely wrong there, but
I think that's right because I think I said that last week. I don't. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, you're right. He is 1 and 4. Yeah, he won the first one in '96. My bad. Nick, continue.
So.
Drew McIntyre.
One thing
Sorry.
It's a distraction. Wolf just showed us a photo of Drew McIntyre with his cat in the belt. That is adorable. That's very cute.
Sorry, go on. Go on.
Obviously with Taker winning now, what happens with AJ? Is he dead?
He's
dead. Did they just keep him off TV for 6 months, bring him back at a later date?
No,
he's dead. He's retired. He's gone.
He's joining the Dark World,
last
like
match
you said.
in WWE.
So, gentlemen, yes, Nick did bring up a good point that we did lose AJ Styles after being buried alive. His hand stuck out. He tried to grasp a final breath of fresh air. And
reaching for the brass ring.
So, a moment of silence. Thank you.
Apparently the hand at the end was Taker's idea as well. Just
yeah.
that little.
Because he did it before. Taker did do it himself, technically. If it was his arm, who knows. But, any final thoughts, Nick? Sorry, we keep cutting you off here.
No. That's probably it.
And as somebody who lives for like the behind the scenes stuff with the production side of Wolf, I know you're a big production guy as well because you work in the film industry and production. Brilliant, executed brilliance. The set, the lights, the the pyro, the production, everything about it was just so good. Jeremy Borash was the producer director behind it, who was part of the final deletion match with Bray and Matt Hardy a few years back. Again, I just thought it was just pure brilliance. I don't even know what to say. Like, you guys said everything. It said all the right things. And again, like, I just thought it was just wonderfully executed. Apparently, the dialogue was all improv. There was not scripted in, but AJ and Taker said, let's just throw in the dialogue anyways. And it worked out so good that, I thought it was great. So let's, as a whole, before we get into the rest, your thoughts on, like out of 5 stars, if we had to pull off the Dave Meltzer way, night 1, Nick?
It was a strong night. I think night 2 was better. I'd probably 3.5. Had
Pete?
to say something.
0 stars. Shit, couldn't be bothered. I'd give it 3.754, something like that. It was very good based on what they had.
Wolf?
3.14159.
Specific. I'm gonna go with 3.5 because I think like it was.
The pie at Kevin Owens.
Thank you. I wanted somebody to pick up on what I was doing. Thank you.
I thought the first half was a bit weak, but then the second half really redeemed it. So how about this? Because this is something I just realized, gentlemen. I've noticed that we've already gone nearly an hour for night 1. So what I'm gonna do is this for everybody watching at home. I'm gonna stop it right here, but you know, through the power of edit, we're gonna cut off here. I'm gonna have a episode 4.1 and episode 4.2 because this is a lot to process for the viewer, for the listener. So we're gonna cut part 1 right here.
You made it to the end of the episode. I know it's long, and I'm sure you can see how we were caught off guard when how long we were going for there, because we realized we were just at the hour mark, or I believe we are at this point, and it's WrestleMania for sure, and I think it's fitting if we split this into 2 nights or 2 episodes like how WWE did, weirdly enough. So that is going to be the conclusion of that. Stay tuned tomorrow so you can hear our review of night 2 of WrestleMania 36. Follow me on all platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Under Middle Rope. Find me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You all know the drill. Stay tuned. We'll see you tomorrow for episode 4.2.